Will I lose my gains on holiday? Recently, I've been on holiday and I looked pretty big. I thought, yeah, I'm looking big, I'm looking buff. And every day I would pass the scales and I'd think, nah. I neglected it because I thought, I'm already big enough, I don't really need to check. And so one day I got curious. I thought, I've gotten bigger, definitely. I look way bigger than the beginning of the holidays. So I checked my weight and I found I actually lost weight. And from that point, I felt so skinny. I felt so inferior. I would be, looking at my arms thinking, oh, I'm so skinny. And I'd be looking in the mirror thinking, oh, I look like a stick. And I'd be walking around thinking I look skinny. I'd be looking at everyone else thinking, oh, I wouldn't want to get in a fight right now because I'm so skinny. And I was only able to change this I was only able to change this when I did these things. Now, recently, I played football with some friends for a few hours and we were really going at it. Like, we were sprinting, we were doing tricks, we were doing all sorts of stuff. And I ate less that day because I was out, didn't have time to get into routine, and I just ate less. And the next day, I found I lost a whole kilo of weight. 1 kilo. I thought, fucking hell, I lost a lot of weight. I need to get back on it. But what I want to ask you is, do you think if you ate differently, your weight would change? Do you think if you ate different foods, you ate maybe less food, do you think your weight would change? Yes, of course it's going to change. If you bulk, you eat more food. If you cut, you eat less food. So, of course, your weight is going to fluctuate depending on how much food you eat. And especially on holidays, you're not going to be eating protein, you're not going to be having your shakes, you're not going to be eating the same foods you usually eat. So of course your weight is going to fluctuate because you're going to eat some heavy foods and you're going to eat some light foods. So don't be surprised if your weight is fluctuating, because it will naturally, because you're not going to be physically possible. You're not going to be It's not going to be physically possible for you to eat the exact same foods every day when you're in a different country. So, if you didn't do the gym, would you lose muscle? Yes, obviously. So, do the gym. Because if you don't do the gym, obviously you're going to look skinny, you're going to lose your gains. But if you just do the gym, if you just engage your muscles, you're not going to lose muscle. They say it takes up to around 3 weeks to 4 weeks to lose actual muscle, meaningful muscle. So 3 weeks of inactivity in the gym will result in significant muscle loss. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that kind of time. Usually I find when I'm out of the gym for about 2 weeks, I just feel skinny. Even a week kills me. So do the gym, even if it's just a few push-ups. Like what I did was I did the gym whenever I had the chance to do it. And if there was no gym, I'd do push-ups, I'd do suitcase curls, I'd do decline push-ups to do my triceps, my chest, did rows with the suitcases. You can do different things. You can still engage your muscles. And as long as you engage your muscles, you might not just maintain your muscle, but you might actually gain muscle. So just keep doing gym as frequent as you can. But sometimes you are going to just lose muscle. You're going to have to accept that, because sometimes you just are unable to maintain that muscle when you're on holidays. Maybe you're doing a lot of activities, so you're walking all the time. You're not eating as much. Maybe your appetite is less. Maybe you went out and got drunk, and the next day now you're fucked. Your day is fucked. You're not going to be able to do the gym. You're not going to eat well. So you can't control these things. So sometimes you just have to accept that you might lose a bit of muscle, you might lose weight, and you have to really embrace that and realize that it doesn't really matter, because you can gain it all back in no time. And the likelihood is you probably just lost water weight. When I when I did football with my friends, for example, the majority of the weight I lost was water weight. It wasn't muscle. It wasn't meaningful weight. It was more water weight. So don't read into these things too much. That's why when you're bulking, you're checking the scales every day, your weight is actually the average of all the weights that you've had in the last few days. So if you're you're going to fluctuate up and down. So you might be 70 kilos one day and then 69 the next. Well, your average is probably about 69.5 kilos. That's probably your true weight. So don't read into it too much. And do you think you would enjoy your holidays if you were constantly worrying about tracking your calories, doing the gym, getting your macros in, and your 25% protein, all this shit? Do you think you would actually enjoy your holidays if you're still doing the gym shit, the gym bro shit? Would you? Would you enjoy your holidays if you're always constantly worrying about this stuff? No. So why do it? If it's going to ruin your enjoyment of your holiday, why would you therefore ruin that? Why would you do this? So don't worry about it, because the whole point of you being on holidays is to unwind and to relax and enjoy the time you have. So don't waste it thinking about the gym. The gym is just minor when you're away. And also, do you think if you check the scales, let's say you get back and you've lost 3 kilos and you're trying to bulk, so you're trying to bulk and you lost 3 kilos, would you be happy? Would you be happy with what you saw? No, you'd probably be quite depressed. You'd probably be really angry and really demotivated to get back into the gym. So my tip is, don't check the scales during holidays and a week prior to returning from your holidays, because after a week of being back and getting back on the horse, after getting back into routine, you're not really, your weight's probably going to be the same as it was before. You're going to look the same as you did before. So it doesn't really matter. But as soon as you come back, you're going to be a little bit different. Your weight's going to be quite different. So don't check the scales. Don't even look at the scales. Just do what you usually did without doing the scales. Just don't check the scales at all, and you'll be much happier for it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and comment down below any problems you may have, and go to the first link in the description if you want to get that fucking beach bod for summer, to get the chicks. If you want to get that beach bod, you want to look good, check out the Aesthetic Teen course. It's in the first link in the description. It is a pre-sale, so it's like less than 10% of the real price, because there's no actual content in there, but I'm working on the content. It'll be up soon, so get it now while it's cheap as fuck, and you've still got, what is it, May? You've still got 2 months to get that beach bod. So first link in the description, and have a good day.